The riders set off on their formation lap, ready for the Moto3 San Marino Grand Prix. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Daniel Hologado leading the title on 161 points, 13 clear to Amum Sasaki, 32 clear to Masia, 33 clear to Dennis Onshu. Bikes heading down towards turn 8 of the Quenta. It's going to be 20 laps ahead of us for Moto3. Let's check in with the boys in the box as we get ready on the parade lap.
For this race, the fans all on little hillsides at La Quercia, and then on the top overlooking this curve. Only this is out of Tramonto, turn 10. Favourite overtaking point, actually, that in Moto3, isn't it? To get the run through 9 and put a bit of a block pass in.
It really is. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 places, really good overtaking places on this track for a Moto3 bike. It's a lot more difficult on the big bikes. On a MotoGP bike, it's almost a little bit too tight and twisted. But yeah, this track was designed for the Moto3 bike, so we're in for a treat. I'm really intrigued as well to see how Josh Watley gets on. I'm so pleased to see that he's made a step this weekend, riding so well within a second of the fastest, qualified his best I've ever seen him riding the dry. I just hope he can get a good start and get in that leading group, because he's got the pace.
Yeah, you just need to mix it, don't you? You need to get involved, and we should have a group. What will likely happen, Neil? Do you feel like the strong runners at the front, your Mazias in particular, he does start as favourite today, will push on a pace early, won't they?
That's plan A, is to stretch it for those riders. There's about 5 riders that I could say have got the ability to do that. Do I think it'll happen? I'm going to say not. I think we're going to have a big group.
Omi's with me in the comms box. Hi, Omi, you doing all right?
Hopefully doing well. Looking forward to it.
So, here we go then. They're all lined up on the grid. 20 laps ahead of us. Masia, Sasaki, Toba, all in the mix. And fingers crossed the run down towards turn number 1 will be okay. Green flag at the back. All eyes to the red lights. Masia on pole. Alongside him is Sasaki and Toba. Red lights are on. It's lights out. Race on in San Marino. Good start from Masia. Good start from Sasaki. And he's going to go wheel to wheel with Masia down towards turn number 1. And into the lead of the race goes Sasaki. Looking around the outside. There's coming in with David Alonso and Monrella. Sasaki leads from Masia. Alonso moving up as well into 5th position. Monrella going to fight with him for 4th place. Meantime, Masia retakes the lead coming into turn 3. Up the inside comes Kaito Toba to hold off for 3rd position at the moment. So a clean start from everybody as things stand. Beautifully done as they head down towards turn 8 for the first time in a Quenta. And just like we saw at the Catalan Grand Prix, Masia is able to take it off straight into the distance as we come on the inside line now for turn 3. Kaito Toba takes 2nd place. No jump starts. That was a good getaway, I mean, what do you make of it?
Yeah, really great start. We love it when everyone makes it through cleanly. But yeah, a really great start to the race. Exactly what Masia wanted, also off the front row as well. So yeah, great start.
Sasaki once again getting off as well and just dropping back. He's seen that several times so far this season. He struggles on the 2nd phase of the start. Now he's going to get swamped by Toba side by side. Sasaki retakes 2nd position. Toba's under pressure now from Monrella. He's going to try and go on the outside coming through turn 14. Just about holds it together into the braking zone. Big lunge from David Alonso on the inside line, getting ahead of Toba. Hologado's in there too, our championship leader. So they're not leaving anything to go by there. Altola has dropped back into 20th position. So the end of the opening lap here at San Marino. It's Masia, Sasaki, Monrella, Alonso, then it's Toba, Onshu, Munio, Hologado, Nepa, Kelso is your top 10. Munio passing Hologado for 7th position now as well. Artegas has dropped back to 22nd position. Masia still holding on at the front then, still holding it as up the inside. That's a great lunge as well from Diego Monrella, who takes 2nd place away from Amum Sasaki. So immediately, Omi, they're going to start battling. They're not going to hold it back. They're going to go hammer and tong in this race.
Yeah, Moto3 is always fun with this, but Masia's got a tiny bit of a gap, I have to say, as well, off the front, but they're battling for P2.
Yep, and up the inside, there goes Sasaki, repassing Monrella. Munoz drops down to 6th position as well. Alonso retakes 5th. So a couple of things still having to change around, but up the inside again. So Toba down into 7th position. Didn't see that on the original get away. A little bit of a run wide from half the field there. That was Hologado, our championship leader, having a problem. And this is the replay of what happened earlier on in the race on turn 14, lap 1. Wow.
Oh.
That
Someone was wide.
That's Ivan Otola getting forced out wide at the back.
Yeah, very, very wide for him there as well. And I think I was Hologado there as well in our picture.
Salvador's crashed. Salvador has crashed out, apparently. According to race control, Salvador has crashed. So, rider okay, but it's in the third sector. So, that's unfortunate for for David Salvador, who is now out of the race. Yeah, there we go. Masia leads again. There is the bike stuck in the gravel, being towed away by the marshals. He's up and walking away, which is great news. Sasaki looking on the inside now, having a battle with Dennis Onchu. Onchu's got a run from David Alonso on the inside of him into turn 1 and 2. Just about holds it back into the right-hander at turn 3 before turn 4 heads down to the right as well. But Masia pulling out the advantage at the front, 1.1 seconds ahead now in the Moto3 races. Practically unheard of as Monrello and Onchu battle together. This is Masia just checking out at the front. 141.971, fast up of the race so far.
Yeah, you barely see it in any kind of motors, to be honest, other than MotoGP sometimes. But in Moto3, as you said, it's unheard of because he's got such a big gap already in this race, and he's going to continue extending it as they battle for second.
Battling harder as well as they come through on the outside line as Artegas has passed Scott Ogden, so Ogden down to 22nd position. Meantime, battle going on from the 44. Looking on the inside, that's David Munoz trying to pass Kaito Toba. A little bit of a lunge on the inside line, but no overall adjustments going on. Monrella has now got ahead of Dennis Onchu for second position. Sasaki has dropped back into 4th, into the clutches of David Alonso. Kaito Toba ahead of Munoz. Hologado ahead of Colin Vija as well, is back racing this weekend in 11th position. Alonso making a lunge on the inside line of Sasaki and getting up into 4th position. Another good lunge there. Onchu back up into 2nd place, passing Diego Monrella, and Sasaki going back through on the inside of the 80 of David Alonso. So it's constant changing again, Omi, but Masia controlling the pace up front. It's the battle for second down. That's really the big thing with 17 laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the battle for second. P1's absolutely checked out as Masia right now. So at this stage of the race, it's 17 laps to go. So yeah, a lot of battling, a lot of changing going on for second and behind. They're all in a bit of a train. But yeah, Masia, just look at the gap. He's completely checked out right now.
Masia, P1, gap behind is 1.1. He's been told it's now 1.2 seconds. Onchu, Monrella, Sasaki, Alonso, Munoz still holding it together as they attack down the back straightaway now. Masia holds it again down towards turn 8 of the Quenta. Artegas has got ahead of Filippo Faroli, and Scott Ogden still now in the battle. Ortola has done. And we've been blocked.
What?
Yeah, we've been blocked. So that's great for Singapore next week. Let's hand over to BT.
Onchu is doing a job for the whole field. He's got in front of Moreira. He's managed to keep the Brazilian at bay, and I'm pleased to say we're talking about Moreira in a positive sense this weekend. But Onchu knows what Masia is trying to do. He is now set about hunting him down. He is the greyhound after the rabbit.
Yeah, and Onchu has the pace. Actually, when I saw Moreira in 2nd place, I thought, well, they're not going to close the gap. Moreira doesn't have the out-and-out pace, but Dennis Onchu does. I just hope Moreira now has the intelligence not to dive bomb Dennis Onchu, because down this straight, for example, down into turn 1, actually, he's made a mistake there as Onchu. He ran onto the green. Yeah, down a straight like this, he'll give off a big draft because he's one of the bigger, heavier riders.
Remarkably, Diogo Moreira, following Onchu, has just set the fastest lap of the race so far. You've talked about it throughout the weekend, that actually having someone in front of you around this racetrack really is a big advantage. It's one of these places where the marker is more significant than the slipstream.
Absolutely, especially on those faster corners, when you get through 11, 12, 13. It's hard to explain, because you think, well, surely on all tracks it's better to have a bit of a reference, but on corners that, let's say, don't open out, the line's not as obvious, so it's in the middle of the long corners you can gain a couple of bike lengths.
Onchu really trying to reel in Jaume Masia at
happening.
the front. He keeps getting there, but he messed up, didn't he, on that previous lap, and he lost time in the last sector.
Yeah, it's come down a couple of tenths halfway around, but then I feel like Masia will gain time on this section now.
Pleased that Joel Kelso has managed to stick with this front group. Just been passed by Jose Antonio Rueda, but he's in very good company in Rueda, who of course was on the podium last time. And that's what Joel, this is where he needs to fight. This is where he knows he has to come up with something and get stuck in, because it'd be very easy to get lost now that the pace is so high.
Yeah, and it's also what team managers want to see. They want to see someone with a bit of fun go, oh,
there's Fire.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Colin Fire, who's obviously picked up that injury last weekend, that horrible high side in qualifying, but has looked more like himself this weekend. So obviously the injury's not holding him back too much.
He was on Danny Olgado, of course, the championship leader, which just shows where Olgado's not quite on the pace that Denis Onchu is, for example. That is a new best ever race lap, that, from Denis Onchu. Beats Romano Fenati from 2021. So Onchu's closed the gap to 0.8 of a second. He's working hard, but he'll be working his tyres hard, won't he, to get up to Masia?
Yeah. Luckily at this track, it's not too... The track is super grippy. Yeah, he's closing the gap a lot. These are the sections where Onchu's so quick. He uses his bigger frame, then as an advantage, he can muscle that Moto3 bike around, can put it on parts of the track. Some of the lighter, let's say, not strong riders can put theirs. So, yeah, you've got to work to your strengths.
And it's not that Mazia's rolled off. Mazia's just set the fastest race lap until Onchu came across the line. It's not like Mazia's taking it easy here. He is also pushing on, but Onchu's put in a really hot lap on that occasion. And from being 1.2 a few laps ago, well, it says 0.4 there, that is less than 0.4 now. That's a gap that, well, it just doesn't exist anymore, because Onchu is tagged onto the back of Mazia now, and with him right there as a marker, he will be able to close through onto Masia. Look through the fast corner there, how the Honda might have a little bit more edge, but watch now on the brakes onto how much ground he eats up every single braking zone, and he'll soon be on the back of the Leopard man. Down to 0.28. But we've got a three-way battle now for the lead. A slight gap back to Sasaki, but you feel when Onchu gets there, again, look at him.
Unreal.
Through that last corner, just braking that little bit later, a little look across, and Onchu is on the tail of Masia, but this is going to open up the race. Thank goodness.
I mean, you look at Masia there, he did a 1 minute 42.4. That was a really slow lap for him.
Yeah, 3/4 of a second quicker Onchu on that last lap. Maybe Masia saw that the gap had come down and just thought, right, you know what, I've got to save something here, save myself for the battle late on.
I think you're right. That's sometimes a wise thing to do. Plan A is to escape. As soon as you realise that's not working, then you go, OK, plan B, let's just settle into the race. There's 14 laps to go. Try and save something for the end.
Onchu will not wait to get past. Now that he's made up all that ground, he will try and get through on Masia as soon as possible. Or will he? After what happened at Saxonry, where he sat in behind Ayumu Sasaki for the entire race and then pounced on him.
On the last corner. Hey, that was a class ride.
Right on the tailpipes of Jaume Masia, out of Tremonto and onto this back straight. You get the flat-out Curvone on these Moto3 bikes, Neil, is that right?
Absolutely. Look, still completely tucked in as well. We'll see on the last lap through this section that it gets a little bit sketchy on these bikes.
It just feels like Onchu's a little bit more circumspect through Curvone than Masia, but on the brakes, no doubting about the prowess of the Turkish youngster. Behind, it's Sasaki doing the chasing on Moreira, with Munoz, Alonso and Toba for company, and then there's a little gap back to Vaya, Rueda, Stefano Nepa, Danny Olgado down in 11th. So as regards the championship, Neil, this is huge at the moment for Masia and for Onchu.
Yeah, the man who was telling us this weekend not to worry is that he has not got the pace, has he, really? I don't know what is going on.
Just on his best lap, it was a 41.9. We have just seen Onchu in a 41.5. Masia's done 3:41.8. Maybe he's building into it. Maybe, well, we're all hoping that once Denis Onchu is there, that there will be a move forthcoming. I thought it'd be straight away. I think he might be about to sit in tight behind Masia. He will see out of this corner and down towards the hard braking zone of La Cuerta.
He's a chance into it now if he wants to go for it. No, you see,
he wasn't even thinking about it.
Exactly, you can see the way.
And he almost ran into the back of Mazia because of that.
You're so right. He positioned himself to the outside. That meant he weren't going to try and have a pass. And then all of a sudden you're caught out by how early Jaume Masia hit the brakes.
All that work to do again for Denis Onchu. Nothing really that he did wrong. He was just, you know, putting himself in the perfect position. But suddenly he found Mazia's bike, who also was just taking the natural racing line. And it almost ended in disaster for the two of them. Thankfully, they're both okay. Onchu there in third. You can see from the helicopter, Neil.
Yeah, watch this now. Masia at the front is going to hit the brakes, and Onchu's going to nearly run into the back of him. Here we go. He'll close, and then he has to sit the bike up. Otherwise, obviously, there would have been contact.
That's just Denis Onchu braking later. You know,
yeah.
Different style. It's more.
It is the
more
different
of a V,
styles,
isn't it? More of a V that you're going to make out with the KTM than what Mazia's doing there is trying to carry the speed into the corner, braking that little bit earlier, but then
and let the brake off earlier, carry the corner speed. That's what you have to do on the Honda, and that's why they say the Honda riders say it's hard to race against the KTM boys. Just they've got a little bit more acceleration. They can stop the bike a little bit more.
I feel like we need a fluorescent yellow klaxon Munoz alert, because here he is.
I was thinking the exact same. And Alonso, another aggressive rider. Your three main men in this group for aggression, it's Denis Onchu, David Munoz and David Alonso are your aggressive riders. They are not afraid to let the brake off, dive up the inside. That's why we see such good racing. Here we go.
And see Onchu on this occasion went tight on the inside. He knows that he could get through on Moreira there. He actually thought about maybe trying to get Mazia as well, but he regains that second place. He is so strong. He looks really good in the braking zones.
Was that a seat tap I saw then? I think I saw a seat tap.
From Denis?
From Denis?
That's a surprise. I've never seen that before.
Follow me.
Only every single race that we've watched with Denis Onchu since he first came into this championship.
Oh, Munoz
as well.
Now tapping his seat.
I love it. I absolutely love it in Moto3. And of course, we have shown with the experiments that have been done over the years.
It never works.
It never works. It never gets listened to.
Boom.
Alonso so good in 14.
He is so good into there because he never goes wide. He carries much more speed into the corner, but he can get that KTM stopped. It might be the gearing he's running, it might be just slightly shorter gearing, which just helps him.
I wonder about gearing at this pace, because it is a bit shorter, isn't it? That you find just because you want the punch off the corners.
I do like a Moto3 race when you've got Munoz in there, because it's going to be entertaining when you've got Denis Onchu and David Alonso.
In terms of the title, really, it's Mazia and Onchu, 32 and 33 points down on Olgado. Sasaki's is the closest challenger. He's 13 behind. Now, Sasaki is on a run of form, top 4 in every of the last races since he crashed out in the USA. It was a run of 6 podiums in the middle of that too. So Sasaki is one who I expect will just sit there for now. I'm not quite sure whether he has the pace this weekend. It hasn't necessarily looked like it all weekend, but he keeps pulling out the results, and I like him being sat here in 6th place.
Yeah, he's a more of a cool customer now, isn't he, Ayumu Sasaki? He made those mistakes early on in the year, and now what we've seen, he hasn't won a race this year, but in these situations, normally now, we see him sort of sit around 3rd, 4th or 5th and just wait, count down the laps. There's 10.5 laps to go. Not risk too much. There's no point in doing a silly move now.
Just looking further down the order, you can see all the way back to Jose Antonio Rueda in 9th. It's sort of a group, 1.7 between them. And then a second back to your championship leader, Danny Olgado. So you see this group back to Rueda, and you see that gap back to Olgado, that's just opened up ever so slightly. He's with Ortola and Yamanaka and Nepa, and then there's 2 seconds back to another group with Fanati leading it. That includes the likes of Suzuki, Joel Kelso is in that, and then there's a group further back with Ogden, Watley and Fallon, who unfortunately haven't been able to tag on to that pack battling for the point-scoring positions.
Yeah, I think the Brits, unfortunately, I was watching Josh actually, he didn't look to get a good start, he went backwards, and they just, like you say, the problem is once you've lost one side, you don't quite get on the back of the group. They've ended up in a bit of a battle between themselves.
Yeah, Joel Kelso now in 21st. He has been shuffled back. It's what happened in Barcelona. He's got to grit his teeth and get the claws out and try to grapple back so he can get into the points. This is your leader still. Jaume Masia has led a lot of this race so far. Now, will we see Onchu make a move down towards La Quercia? We are at the halfway point in this race, and then it's Onchu.
Look at the
decides
different lines.
Not to go
so
through.
Interesting. You've seen the Type V and the, I call them the old 1-2-5 lines of Masia leading. A little bit like we have seen with Romano Fenati a lot.
Track limits warning for Jose Antonio Rueda. This is going to play a part, not just in this race today. We've seen it in the MotoGP sprint. Oh, I'm not sure what happened to Mazia there. He looked to maybe just spin up coming out of Tramonto.
Must have made a mistake, because you don't normally... Oh, that's so fast through there.
And suddenly, then you've got David Munoz through, and then you've got David Alonso through. Diogo Moreira is waiting to pounce. Suddenly, Jaume Mazia's race, he's led for half of it, and it's completely turned on its head. Oh, Mazia stuffs it on the inside of Alonso into Caro corner.
Yeah, that's the David Alonso corner. It's pretty impressive. Very, very impressive. Aggressive from Masia.
That's completely changed the complexion all of a sudden.
As I said in free practice one, the surprise of the season for me has been Jaume Masia. The veteran, you go, well, surely you expected him to do well anyway. He's won Grand Prix, he's one of the most experienced riders. But he just looks different this year. He looks like he wants it more. I think he realises it's now or never.
It's the opportunity of a lifetime in that Leopard team. Yes, it might not be the bike to be on, but people know that. People know that. He's moving up to Moto2 next year, but he might not get another opportunity to be battling for a championship again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And he's really impressed me. He's stepped it up.
Bit of maturity, perhaps, coming in for Jaume Masia, who was a live wire himself in his younger days.
Not as much as this man, number 44, David Munoz. Still only 17 years old, and he's hungry. Let's not forget, he led it into the last corner and didn't come out of it. He got dive bombed by two riders, went slightly wide as he's coming back on the line. Dennis Onchu sort of rode through him, took his hand off the handlebar and knocked him into next week. And he wants revenge for that. I mean, David Munoz is an incredibly aggressive rider, he's incredibly determined, but imagine leading the Spanish Grand Prix into the last corner and getting cleaned out.
Yeah, we are in next week now, and it's revenge time, isn't it, for Munoz? But Masia has passed him through turn 12, and so he's relegated back to third place. Kaito Toba. So, do you know what? I watch it there in Moto3, and I sometimes think, how on earth are they getting it stopped? How on earth are they making it through cleanly through turn 14? It's remarkable. The braking pressure they're putting on these bikes, how they stay up sometimes, it's unbelievable.
It's good we've got the super slow-mo camera actually fixed there, and some of the footage we've seen with especially the Moto3 bikes, the track's rippled up out on the apex, so that's a fast lap from Jaume Masia.
Well, that's again showing that he had not rolled off, but showing that he was dancing it out at the front.
He had to, hadn't he, like you said. Plan A was to escape. Once he realised that couldn't happen, then...
Because he's just gone a second quicker than he went on that lap where the group had finally caught him. So Masia, a 141.421. That is faster than pole position yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it's not that far out of the all-time lap record, which was set by Celestino Vietti here in 2020.
So if you look in the back of shot, O'Tola's doing all he can to try and bridge the gap. If you can see him, he's sort of in no man's land at the moment. He's working his way through after that, after being punted off at turn 13 on lap 1.
Yeah, and he's pulling from Daniel Gardo. He's 0.7 ahead of the championship leader. Another tough weekend, but you've got to take these on the chin, haven't you, Daniel Gardo? You just have to wear them and then make sure next time, whatever happens, you're strong from the off. And it's going to be a strange one at India next time. Dennis Onchu was a different line through there.
Yeah, we were looking at some footage of the track we're going to in a couple of weeks' time. It looks all right, actually. I saw some footage of it. Doesn't look bad in India, because I'd heard some different things. It's got a long straight.
It does.
Into like a hairpin corner, so it's going to cause some action.
David Munoz at one of his track limits warnings for that one after he went onto the green paint on the outskirts of turn 15. Front group of 4 now. Moreira unable to hang on, and that includes a group with Ayumu Sasaki, crucially. And I'm just thinking of the championship in this instance. You know what, if things stay like this in the championship, it will really punch up the top 4 or 5 or even 6 with David Alonso in this front pack, because Back even to Alonso, 46 points down on Danny Olgado in the championship, so he's not out of it with 8 and a bit races to come. And he has just set a new best race lap with a 41.3. They're getting quicker and quicker. And that's why that chasing back is being left for dead.
Yeah, that's what's happened. And but that's down, a lot of that's down to Denis Hunchu. He's got to the front and he's really, really opened up the pace. He's going absolutely as fast as he can. And this is what you want if you are Denis Hunchu. You want to break the group up. You can deal with a group of 4 on a last lap battle. It's very difficult when you have a group of 10. But you end up giving off such a big draft in this part of the track that you can tip into one of the corners, and before you know it, 3 or 4 riders have come underneath you and pushed you wide.
Oh dear. Denis Hunchu, track limits warning. This is one of the favourite points of going out. You see all the black marks on the outside of the track. Actually, MotoGP, you see it a little bit more almost through there. But you have to be so wary around this racetrack because it is about opening it up as much as possible. You're high up on a lot of the curbs. The last corner's perfect example. This one too, through turn 15, to try and carry as much pace. Look how high on the curb you have to ride.
Perfect example, and I thought Denis... it looks borderline, didn't it, if he touched it or not then?
He's been high on that curb all week, so much so a couple of times he's been right over the top of it on Chu. 6 laps remaining. And he's leading from Mazia in second. Alonso and Munoz are in there for good measure. So 3 aggressive riders, one who used to be aggressive and looks like he's up for the scrap today.
I was thinking then, you would not want to be Jaume Masia in this fight with these 3.
Like a goldfish in a shark tank.
Oh, come the last lap, you know someone, no matter what you do, someone's going to try and throw it up the inside of you.
Ortola's bridged the gap, but he's left Danny Olgado wanting behind. Olgado now is down to 12th, 1.7 down on Ortola, and that's in the space of 1 or 2 laps as Munoz and Alonso having their little battle behind.
And you can imagine Munoz and Alonso will know each other well from racing against each other in the junior ranks.
Yeah, in whether it be the Red Bull MotoGP rookies or in the Junior GP series, they are the same age.
And you can imagine that they've grown up racing against each other.
Yeah.
Probably for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
They'll know each other well, that's what I'm trying to say. And they'll know what to expect.
Well, the unexpected, usually from the pair of them. So they're 3rd and 4th. It's still Hunchu leading from Mazia in second. Hunchu just has that concern, doesn't he, about track limits at the moment, and that will come into his riding again. Look how high he went on the curbs. David Munoz going to attack in the final corner. Talk to us then, with 5 laps remaining now in this race when they come across the line. Last lap time, where you want to be. We just watched a Red Bull MotoGP Rookies race this morning where the top 3 across the line were covered by less than 200ths of a second.
Yeah, that was unreal.
So what do you do? Because we've seen it so much over the years.
It's really difficult, and Denis Hunchu, he will say after this race in his interview, he's sort of in a difficult position because he thinks he's faster than them, but if he leads it out of turn 10 on the last lap, he will not win this race. Or it'll be very difficult for him to win this race. What he's going to try and do is what he's doing now. He's got to try and... He'll take a lap off, go relatively slow, then do a full attack lap to see if he can break them, but it's really difficult.
How hard is that to do, then, to adjust your pace?
That's not as difficult as you would think.
Right.
It's sometimes you're just trying to play with your rivals. You've got to be confident, which Denis Hunchu, I mean, you think of confidence, that's his middle name. He's quite a slightly cocky character. I like him. I like to see that confidence.
I love that in a rider anyway, because it just shows inner belief. Occasionally it might come across as arrogance, and you know what? You have to have a certain selfish, arrogant streak, don't you, to do this job?
Yeah, when you think of our past champions, that's what a lot of them have got that in their DNA.
Yeah. Oh! Mazia taking 2 of them down into turn 12.
Tight.
And that would give Hunchu a freer ride. What my concern is, if Hunchu leads out of the final corner, can Munoz or Alonso get past him by the line, do you think? Because he's the bigger rider.
They can, because what will happen if you lean into the last corner, you will have to go defensive, because it's a tight pass. It's difficult to pass into the last corner, but if you go on the optimum racing line, then a pass, you are inviting a pass. And with the aggression of these riders, they will try it. So you have to go defensive. If you go too defensive, you will get dragged over the line.
Diogo Moreira's dropping quite quickly. He's down to 10th place now. There's a chase pack for 5th with Fire, Sasaki and Rueda in it, but they are 2.5 seconds back. It's between these 4 for 3 spots on the podium. I feel like we've said that a number of times this season, Neil, where it's not been the 18 rider group. We've seen them, just look back to Barcelona, but you know, 3 or 4, and you always feel like someone's going to miss out here. So who is it? Who's going to miss out?
Well, you can't call it. You really can't call it, because the calibre of these 4 riders is so high.
And are they all going to finish?
Is the question. Yeah, is a question, because there is a limit, and it's okay being aggressive. It's okay throwing it up the inside no matter what. But if there's contact, it's so easy for the rider on the outside to go down. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they keep it clean.
There is our championship leader now in 14th, and he can't even hang with Stefano Nepa. Look what it's done to the championship, Neil. We said, because we've got Onchu, he's 4th in the championship, he's leading. Mazir's 3rd in the championship, he's in 2nd. Sasaki, who's 2nd in the championship, but he's in a pack battling for 5th. So he's not going to take up massive points, but because Olgado might not score many, it's going to bunch up our front 4, who are currently separated by 33. But if it ends the same, top 4 separated by 14.
How good is that?
Oh my goodness me, what a run-in we will have to Valencia in Moto3. What a run-in we're going to have to the line here in Misano.
Can you imagine these, like in Valencia?
We've seen it.
We've seen it at
so
the end
many
of
times.
Yeah, at the end of November. Wow, it's going to be incredible. It'll be cold and dark, but these lot will be racing around with the lights on, attacking each other.
So many times we've seen it go down to that final round.
I remember in 2013.
Was that the Rins?
Yeah, Vinales.
Salom?
Yes, it was.
Luis Salom, the late Luis Salom. He crashed out early on in the race. Rins had a go and Vinales won. There were 5 points covering the top 3 going into that final round.
Yeah, Rins sort of led it into the last corner and then got squared off, didn't he?
Yeah, he just had to throw it in. He knew. Yeah. If he didn't attack, then, you know, don't die wondering. Oh, David Munoz, your front tyre has gone there. How on earth has he saved that?
Because he's so talented. That is years and years of riding mini bikes around car parks, pushing over the limit.
That's incredible.
I can't tell you how hard it is on one of these bikes. Even on a MotoGP bike, it's easier to save something like that. With these little tyres with that small contact patch, when it starts hopping and folding, 9 times out of 10, you are down.
Some shapes being thrown by Jaume Mazir too in 2nd place. That'll be a little tap on the side of the head, won't it, for David Munoz? Just be careful about getting it to the line. We saw one from Onchu, was it, earlier this weekend, where it was bouncing into turn 14, but they've got it at turn 1 now, that high motion camera. That was incredible from the young Andalusian.
Yeah, I think he's taken just 1 lap off to gather his thoughts and right, let's go.
And here it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, incredible footage. Yeah, this track, I don't really like the layout because it's too small, but it was like it was designed for a Moto3 bike.
Into Rio corner. Still on 2 leads. We are 1.5 laps from the end of this race. We take a moment to catch our breath, because the fireworks are about to go off here in Misano. Dennis Onchu has ridden superbly here.
Yes.
First of all, to track down and chase Jaume Mazir, to pass him, to take the lead. But since then, he has kept the pace in the mid-141s that others have struggled to. Just look at how many riders are with him. They cannot match his pace, but Mazir and Alonso are still there. Munoz, you can see, is really squeezing to hang on to this front trio, and full credit to him for what he's done. But Onchu has ridden brilliantly here today.
He has. He's stretched the field. He's so talented. He loses a lot of time through this section. It's going to be difficult for him to win it because of this part of the track. Watch this now. He's taking a really strange line through there.
Time.
Do you know what I think he's going to do? I think he's going to do the exact opposite on the last lap. Yeah. He's going so wide, and then on the last lap he'll shock them and he'll do the inside. Do it properly.
Well, they'll still try and get through on the inside line as well to capitalise on whatever we're seeing. We've had some drama with YouTube, but thank you very much for staying with us on Twitch. And thank you to the TNT Sports team. Let's give this last lap hell. Last lap the call. Dennis Onchu leading, Masia second, Alonso third, setting the fastest lap, a 1:41.297. They'll fight it hard. Alonso, fastest, new ever, best lap record around this track. Fernandes been given a track limits warning. Masia is going to try and have a go. Munoz is down in 4th position, trying to close them in. Into turns 3 and 4. Hugs the inside line, gets back on the throttle. Hologado on 161 points. Sasaki closes into 4. Hologado being so far down the order as well. It's not working out for him, is he? He's down in 16th and out the place in the championship. It closes everything up in Moto3 exactly how he wanted it to do. Down towards turn over to Quenta. Are we going to see a move on the inside line? He thought about it just a little bit. Can't get through on the inside line. Decides to take it back on the power. Onchu, Masia and Alonso. 1, 2, 3 as they come back up to power. On the inside line then. Is Masia going to go through? Or is Alonso going to try and find a way through? Alonso on the inside line. He gets ahead of Masia. So Alonso to second, but there's only a few corners left. This is sector 3 of 4. 2 left. Onchu still in the lead. Alonso second. Masia closing him down once more as they try and take her through. Masia closes to 16 points in the championship. It needs to be more. Onchu's backed up a little bit, and on the inside, Alonso's going for it, trying to go for a third ever win in Moto3. Masia's going to go through the inside of the pair of them. Oh, beautiful for Masia on the inside of Alonso. Onchu's going to go through. They're 3 wide, and Alonso does what he did in Austin, Texas, and goes right round the outside of the pair of them. Alonso into the last 2 corners. Can he take the lead? Masia and Onchu dive bomb him. Alonso shuts the door, and David Alonso, with a run to the line with one Masia, will take the checkered flag and wins in San Marino. Fantastic! Brilliant last lap from David Alonso. 1 Masia second, and Dennis Onchu in 3rd. Munoz, Vija 5th. Toba, Sasaki or Tola climbing back to 8th. Ruda, Fenati the top 10. Frizzo, Monrella, Nepa, Yamanaka, Suzuki 15th. Hologado, Artegas, Rossi, Ferroli, Kelso in 20th, Bertoletti, Whiteley, Ogden, Lorenzo Fallon, Asman, RG Carisso, and David Salvador down the idea. Absolutely fantastic for Moto3. We'll be back for Moto2 in a little while. Bye-bye.